Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you guys decided to stop by again. If you're new, my name is Jen. This is my all things lifestyle channel. So I do videos on a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom of 6 kids and married to my hubby. We have a dog. Now I'm giving you my life story. That's kind of like in a nutshell what I'm all about. So I love talking about all the things that have to do with homemaking and marriage and parenting and just how we do things, especially in a large family, because everybody's always curious about that. If you watched my last video, it was a fall/wintry clothing haul, mostly the kids, a little bit of things for me, but I also kind of talked about how we do our big clothing purchases and just sort of what it entails and how we go about it basically. And so if you're interested in that, because that's something I always get asked about, you can head on over to that video. But today I thought I would do a video on Christmas. It's very festive up in here. I am in my bedroom next to our tree. This is our bedroom tree, so it's very exciting. I love it. This is the first time we've had like a full-size tree in our room and I'm obsessed. I'm feeling very holiday-ish. So I wanted to talk about getting ready for Christmas, planning, buying presents for, 6 kids, but essentially, there's 8 of us in the family. Just sort of how I do it. Now, Mike and I both do it together, but obviously, well, I will say obviously, it's obvious to me, I guess. I just enjoy, I enjoy all the things. It's not necessarily like it has to be my thing to do, but I just enjoy doing all that. So birthdays and special occasions and Christmas and stuff, I kind of take the lead on that, and he's just like, go ahead and do it. But he does have a say. Like, he will sometimes like suggest certain things for the kids, or if we see something, he might like point it out or whatever. For the most part, it's me. I'm the one who's like looking for stuff and actively searching for presents and doing all the things like that. So I just kind of want to talk about how I sort of stay organized. There is a method to my madness, and maybe a couple of these tips will help you. I just want to say right off the bat though, this is not going to be a video that's centered around like budgeting numbers or things that have to do with minimalism or whether it's too much or too little or things like that. I don't really want to go into that because I think it really is to each your own. And it kind of like when I did my clothing haul, and I was talking about how we account for the fact that we have certain bigger purchases coming up at the beginning of each season for the kids. But I didn't go into like actual numbers of what we plan because it's different for every family. And even aside from how many people are in your family, it's going to depend on like what your personal budget is and what you consider to be adequate or too much or too little, just what you can fit in your budget. So I just don't really want to go into that because I don't really know if that's helpful necessarily. I think a piece of advice I can give you is that, Christmas comes around at the same time every single year. So it shouldn't really be a surprise in that way. So I think as much planning as you can do throughout the year leading up to Christmas is going to help you in the end. So that aside, the first thing that I do is basically, I pretty much keep everything on my phone. So because I take my phone with me, I usually have my phone on me all the time. So it's the best place for me to keep track. Now, if you are a paper planner person, I do like to use like a paper planner for some things, but when I know I'm going to be referring to something a lot, I'd rather just have it on my phone. I use the notes section of my phone to stay organized and make all the lists and do all the things. Leading up to Christmas, like all through the year, I basically am just keeping track and making notes of anything and everything that my kids might sort of mention or say in passing or like point out at a store or something like that. I'll write it down, I'll make a note of it. And by the end of the year, I have quite a list of things that they have talked about liking or possibly wanting or whatever. Now, maybe the second point of that goes along with that tip. This is something I do differently, I guess, than I've heard a lot of other people talk about, and I'll tell you why. I don't actually buy anything though early in the year, like between January and like October, I don't buy anything off this list. And the reason is because basically, like, kids are very fickle. And I find that by the time I get to, you know, like the holiday season where I'm actually ready to be buying things for the kids, I would say literally 3/4 of, you know, things that I've written down that they have talked about or said that they wanted, they are no longer interested in. They just don't want anymore. They've moved on to something else. They've phased out of whatever that thing was. Now, if that's not the case for you, I mean, it's going to save you a lot of time if you can be, you know, looking for these things throughout the year and looking for sales and stuff like that. But honestly, I just don't find it works for us. I just find it doesn't. I think once like the holidays hit and there's like all the new things that kind of, you know, show up at the stores and stuff like that, the kids are enamored with whatever is in at the moment. You know, that's a big difference between the beginning of the year and the end of the year, and they've just kind of like grown out of whatever it was that they may have talked about, you know, January or February. I have the list on my phone and it's kind of like a first reference point. What I do is basically like, I don't even know how to like explain this, but what I will do is I will like every so often I'll kind of just like bring it up in conversation casually, like, oh, remember you talked about this one thing? Or, you know, if we see it again at a store, I might be like, oh, wasn't that the thing you asked for or something? And I kind of get like a feel of like how they respond to it. So they might be like, oh yeah, I really want that. Or they might be like, oh, well, I kind of changed my mind, or I'm not really into that anymore. And I start like crossing things or like taking things off the list. So that sort of gets me started for, you know, how to begin the Christmas shopping for the kids. I have, by the way, all the notes. Speaking of notes, I literally have my life on my notes. So that's why I'm looking on my phone right now. The next thing that I will do, and you might be like, what? Like that's like a recipe for a disaster. And again, you need to just do whatever works for you. And if this doesn't work, don't do it. The thing about my kids is that like we don't watch a lot of TV. They don't watch a lot of TV. If we have any kind of screen time, it's usually like Netflix or something that, or like a DVD or something. And basically what I'm getting at is that they don't really consume a lot of commercials and ads and things like that. Therefore, they don't really know a lot of what is out at the time. We will actually plan, and we've actually already done it, usually around the beginning of November, we purposely will take them to the mall, to the toy store, and we just let them browse and look and see what is out, what choices there are, so that they have some idea of what they might want. Because what I find is that if we don't do that, then sometimes they don't even know what to ask for. And I find that sometimes they are just sort of putting things down on a list, like they're just trying to come up with stuff, but it's like so random because they don't even know what to ask for. We take them to the store, and like I said, if you think that this is just gonna like create chaos like in your family or with your kids, then don't do it. But because like I said, we just don't, even when it comes to going to the store, like we don't really just like randomly take the kids to the store very often. Like when we took them this last time, literally the kids were just like, oh my God, like half the stuff they hadn't even seen before. So that's what we do. And it kind of just like gives them an idea of what they like. But even aside from that, I will watch to see what they gravitate towards. I kind of see what they play with or what they seem interested in. So even if they don't say anything about it, like I take like mental notes and literal notes on my phone to see what they seem to like. Because the other thing too is like Mike and I, we like to sort of, you know, buy them things, get them things that we think that they're going to enjoy, even if it's something they haven't specifically asked for. And I mean, a lot of times the kids end up actually enjoying the things that we picked out for them and that they've said to us, like, I would have never thought to ask for that. And plus it's an extra surprise because they're not expecting it. So anyway, that's something we do. Like I said, it may be like you might be thinking that would be actual chaos if I did that with my kids. My kids know when we go in, we're not buying anything. We're just looking. But it does help in terms of like getting a list together. And then that brings me to the next point. We get them to make a Christmas list. we basically say anything and everything you can think of within reason, obviously, and it like has to be things you actually would want. Write it down in a list. The more, the better, because I like to be able to have lots of choices. Like, I don't want them to give me a list of just like 3 things and then I either get them all the 3 things and they know exactly what they're getting, or like I can't find something or something's expensive or whatever, and then I'm stuck and I don't know what to get them. So I would rather them give me a ton of choices so that we can pick and choose from, you know, 15 things. We can pick and choose what we want to get for them, and it gives us a lot of option, but we still know that we're getting them something that they have asked for. And then also it's still, it makes it fun because they don't know what, you know, they don't know what they're getting. We make them make a list. Like even this year, a couple of them I had to like send them back with the list and be like, you didn't put enough stuff. Give me more stuff to choose from. A lot of times they will just say like, I can't think of anything else, you just choose. So I'm like, okay. I will take that. Well, basically what I'll do is I'll look through the list first. If there's anything on there that I know for a fact is like, I don't know, like ridiculous or way too much money, or I don't know, just something that we would just never buy for them, I will tell them right away. And I might seem like a mean mom, but I will tell, because I don't want them to, not that they're, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, they're expecting everything, like that they're going to get everything, but I don't want them to have their heart set on possibly getting something. Do you know what I mean? So I will just tell them right away, like, look, I know you asked for this, but it's way beyond the budget of what we're going to spend, you know, especially for one present, or, you know, you're going to get this thing. Have you really thought about, like, it might seem like a fun toy, but have you really thought about, are you going to be bored after like an hour? I noticed that a lot of the electronic toys, like things that take batteries, honestly, like I find that they are the ones, those are the toys that like hold their attention least amount of time. So I always kind of like question them and make them like sort of think about it. And so we'll cross some things off. Once we kind of get like a basic list, I will transfer it onto my phone, and I write everything down. I'll write each kid down, and then I will put every possible thing that they've asked for in my phone in a list, kind of like bullet point, you know, and then I have it with me all the time. So if I'm doing online shopping, if I'm out at the store, whatever, if I just find something and I want to get it, I have my phone there with me. I can reference it and know exactly what they want, if it's the right, whatever, the right set, the right book, whatever it is. And then I click it, I basically like mark it off as purchased. And it's the easiest way for me to keep track, especially with that many kids. Like, it's a lot, like it takes a lot of like planning. It's just like the shopping for clothing. It takes a lot of planning and organization. So that's the easiest and best way to do it for me. And then also on my phone, I'll keep track of like, you know, if I order something off Amazon or whatever, I'll keep track of order number and how much the total was, things like that. I keep track of all of that. Now, I know the big question is going to be, and I said I'm not going into numbers, and I'm not, but I know that the big question is going to be, how do you, or how do I make it even for all the kids, or do I make it even? The answer to that question is that in terms of my husband and I, when we are shopping for the kids, in our minds, we are doing our best to make it even according to who the kid is and what their age is and what they've asked for and the amount of things that they're getting. It's a combination of that. If you're asking if we get them a certain amount of gifts exactly the same and we spend the exact same amount of money on each one of them, no, there's no way. There's no way you could do that. Like, my littlest daughter will ask for a lot of, you know, like Barbie type dolls and accessories and little things like that. My oldest son will probably ask for a lot of electronic device things, or I keep like hitting this branch, gift cards, I don't know, just things like that, which obviously cost more money. So to say that they're both gonna get 10 presents doesn't really make sense in that way. Now, obviously at Christmas though, we're not gonna have one kid opening like 15 things and another kid opening 2. Do you know what I'm saying? So we make it fair in how it's going to feel to the kids. if that makes any sense. When Christmas comes, they will all have a generally equal number of presents to open. And in terms of the money spent on each one of them, we just kind of play it by ear. And if one kid has presents that cost less than another kid, it doesn't really matter, because if the stuff they asked for was the stuff they asked for and they are happy with what they got, then it doesn't really matter. We've been fortunate enough that we've sort of, I mean, the little kids don't really understand, but we've explained that to the older kids, and they understand. Like, they're not, we've always been like that. So, and they know come Christmas, you know, when they're looking around, like, they can feel that it's even. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm not being like clear, because I know people just want like a very definite answer, but that really is the best way to do it. It's fair because we make it fair. It's our version of fair. So I don't know, you might disagree with that, but that's sort of how we do it, because any other way, I think, in my opinion, would make it less fair. Does that make any sense? How many times could I say fair? And then I think the last thing, well, maybe two more things I was gonna mention, is the kids do write letters to Santa. Santa does visit our house, and Santa fills everybody's stockings from old to young. Not the parents, but he fills all the kids' stockings. That is Santa's job. Santa also leaves one present for every child. For all 6 of them, they all get a present from Santa. They do make a separate Santa letter that they all write. We tell them to give Santa at least 3 choices of things to pick from. And Santa spends about, we have guessed, like Mike and I have guessed based on previous years, because the kids will ask, like, do you think this is too expensive to ask Santa for? And we've told them that based on past years, Santa probably spends between $25 to $30 on a present for them. So we try to keep it within that, you know, budget. They'll ask us if they're not sure. You know, if they're asking for something that is too expensive, we will tell them. Santa picks something off of that list. It can be something that's similar, or like it can be something they've asked us for. It doesn't really matter. We've never had a double. We told them that Santa's pretty good at like knowing what to give. It's always worked out that they've gotten something from Santa that we didn't get them. So that's how we do that, or that's how Santa does that. And then the kids also buy for each other. So one day we will take them all out. We do Secret Santa with them. So they pick a name. They each get one other brother or sister. And we take them, we usually give them a budget of around $20. And they pick a gift out for someone else in the family. Yeah, they really enjoy doing that. And as of now, you know, we still cover that because nobody is working. Kids don't have jobs or anything like that. So we cover that. But I mean, they do things around the house. I guess they're sort of earning the money, if that makes sense. Like, they do a lot of things around the house to earn the money, but essentially when we go out with them, you know, we cover the cost of the presents. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, I do a lot of my shopping online. I do as much as I can online, mostly Amazon, but I'll order from Toys R Us, pretty much wherever I can find deals. I'm always like looking for deals and stuff, and I always have things like sitting in my cart on Amazon to see like if the price fluctuates or whatever. I like doing that also. Well, it's just a lot easier, but I also like doing that because everything arrives safely and securely and wrapped in a box. So there's like, you know, not the risk of kids trying to peek or anything like that. And we actually have a pile of boxes like sitting in our bathroom right now, all Amazon boxes. So I'll do that. I know also people talk about like wrapping as you go. We don't really do that. It's hard. It's a lot harder for us to like store the presents if they're already wrapped. So I mean, we've gotten better because there's been lots of years that we wait till like Christmas Eve and we're wrapping till like 4 in the morning, which is insane. But we don't do it like that anymore. Usually like the week leading up to Christmas, Mike and I will, in the evenings, we will put on Christmas movies and we'll wrap. It's a fun time, you know, to spend together and to do that. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Like that's the gist of how we organize for Christmas. Yeah, the kids are great on Christmas. If you've followed me on my vlog channel, if you don't know, I have a vlog channel. So if you want to head over there, we have lots of years of Christmas vlogs, and we've had big Christmases, small Christmases. But we do make a big deal of Christmas, and you know, we don't, again, I don't want to get into this because there's no right or wrong, but you know, we're not ones to just like typically just buy the kids things throughout the year for no reason. So we do make a big deal about Christmas, and they, you know, I mean, they do get their fair share. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it and say they don't. The kids are very, very grateful. They're very thankful. The other thing to remember too, again, not making any excuses, but we are the primary people who buy them presents. So they're not really getting anything outside of what we buy for them. I think it would be maybe a little bit different if they were getting a lot of like outside presents from various people. It's essentially us. And so, you know, we do what we can. I know people sometimes do like the something you need, something you want, something to read. I don't even know. It's something like that. And I think that that's great. Like, that's a great concept. It's just not something that we've decided to do. And maybe we will do that sometime. I don't know. I think you just have to decide for yourself what works. When you think it's too much, you know, maybe cut back. The thing to just keep in mind is that you know that whatever's coming into your house, you know, you need to have space for, and you know, you're either gonna have to care for it or the kids are gonna have to care for it. You know, it's stuff that you're gonna have to find a place for and clean and organize and put away. And so that's why I'm saying I think it's different for everybody, and I would hate to like shame anyone for how they decide to do Christmas with their family. If you want to take a minimalist approach, whatever that means to you, then that's great. But I also don't think it's right to, you know, point out somebody who decides that they want to give more than that to their kids. And again, what I consider to be a lot, you might not consider to be a lot, and vice versa. I'm not into all that. It's whatever, you do you, I do me. I just wanted to share more about just how we do it, how we get to Christmas with everything done, everything crossed off the checklist. Some years it's been a close call, but we do it. I feel like I'm pretty much on the ball this year because I probably have like half the things bought already, and we're only in the like middle of November. That's a big deal for me. That's the most ahead I've ever been. So anyway, I think that's it. If there's anything I forgot to cover, or like you have a question or whatever, just leave it in the comments below and I'll try to answer you. But yeah, if you have any tips or tricks for like how to stay organized, how to stay on top of things or whatever, you can leave those also, because I want to be like a sharing community where we can just kind of take tips and stuff from each other. And I think that's it. So anyway, thank you so much again for watching. It really means a lot that you guys are stopping by and watching my videos over here on this channel. As you guys know, it's like, especially now in the YouTube world, it is not easy to get like a new channel off the ground. So I really appreciate that you guys are supporting me here. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe and turn on the notifications if you want to know when I upload new videos. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's just Modern Mom for Life, which is actually the name of my vlog channel. But I'll be posting anything there regarding this channel or that channel. Always let you guys know when a new video is going up, so you can check it out there. Just if you want to follow us around the holidays, you know, around Christmas time and all the festive things we do, you can follow me there. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.